Hey everybody, it's Paul Colligan. We are about 5 minutes away from the big live launch here, but it's always fun to do a little bit of pre-show before we go into the big live show. So I am in my home office in Portland, Oregon. I had to have my youngest finish piano lessons about 5 minutes early, which of course thrilled her to no end. So we're doing well here. Mike, you're at the home office in San Diego?
We are. I've got Pam sitting right next to me, and we're all set to do some loving and some sharing. How's that sound? It sounds like a Motown song, actually, loving and sharing, and that love and feeling.
And squeezing and hugging.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
All right, guys, I'm going to interject with the love fest going on here. Hey, Paul, thanks so much for having us.
Oh, Pam, always pleasure. This is one of my favorite topics, you know. This is so it's so empowering to have something, you know, to have a product. And I read a tweet yesterday where somebody said, you know, blogging and Kindle takes the exact, or no, it was blogging and authoring takes the same amount of effort, but a book's worth a lot more than a blog.
Right.
And I thought that was such an interesting perspective, you know, and it's funny because everybody out there has got a product in them, but until it comes out, you know, it's about as worthless as a blog that nobody reads. And you know, here's this lovely picture of you two with the book. You know, one small example, but boy, that physical manifestation of what you've got, that is the answer. That is the angle. And it's just fun to chat about it because ideas and income, you know, it's not the silly, you know, late night infomercial, you know, call a lawyer and we're going to patent your idea and make you rich. I mean, that's not real. Everybody knows that. And, you know, what you guys have is real. So it's thrilled to have you guys on board.
No, it's good. Well, I think the, you know, what we've been learning, obviously, throughout the course of this past year is how incredibly valuable having a book is for attracting great prospects and customers. And we've seen the shape of our customers change. For example, at the Author Expert Marketing Machines live event, different customer. And with Make Market Launch, I believe you know, the depth of the connection that you create with the prospect because of a book is incredibly powerful. But ultimately, you know, if I were going to choose what to do first, I'd certainly say get that dang product done and then do the book.
Yeah.
But it really is a pretty much a guaranteed platform builder, legitimacy creator. And you know, last Friday, I spoke for Darren Hardy. He had 25 multimillionaire CEOs in the room, and what I did is I gave away the Make Market Launch It book, and people were absolutely thrilled. And afterwards, I got 5 of these, you know, big people handing me cards saying, would you consider doing some one-on-one with me? You know, so just having that book and being able to hand it out puts you in a completely different class of person.
And then having the product to follow it
Exactly.
up. Yeah, because
Yeah, exactly.
the key
That's
was
the
Mike
point.
handed out the books, but then he had product to back it up so that it, you know, the key to the book, as you know, Paul, is the lead generation as well as the credibility and the list building and the getting qualified customers in, you know, to know, like, and trust you so that then you can build the products, which is the sustainable income piece, you know, is where it's all about. And we actually did the product before we did the book. And I had never done it that way before, but it was awesome because it made the book so clear, and the book so clearly leads, you know, toward what's in the product. So it was a great way to do it.
And it just steps up the game so tremendously and so considerably. You know, if I am going to invest in something that someone has done and I expect great things from them, I'm just not going to do it blindly. I'm going to take a first step, you know, and that might be a video series, that might be an infographic, that might be some of the things that you guys have done inside of Make Market Launch. But you know, a book translates, you know, a book is universal. You know, and it's funny, even me who doesn't even like, you know, Pam, I always give you a hard time, stop sending me Dead Tree editions. You know, even for a person who doesn't like the paperback version, the fact that you have a paperback version is all the legitimacy in the world. But there's no money in the book. The book leads to the product and leads to the revenue, and that's our chat for tonight. So a bunch of you are coming in, but as is true to webinars, once you know the hour starts, everybody starts popping in, and GoToWebinar is a bit funky, and so I'm going to give it about another minute before we start this officially. But,
sounds great. In the meantime, maybe if you're just joining us, make sure that you type in who you are, where you're dialing in from, and what your area of expertise is. And I do remember, I recognize some familiar faces here. We've got Pat and Mike and Megan and Jim and Gilad and Colleen here. So as you're walking in, thank you for being here, and nice of you to join us.
Welcome, and I recognize a couple of your names from the live event, so it's good to see you here.
You know, Pam, I've described your situation and your experience to a couple of people. And, you know, the Tony Robbins connection always comes up. And I've had a couple of people say, wow, I can't do what Tony Robbins did production-wise. And you know, I give him a wink wink and a nudge nudge and go, well, you know, he didn't either. Pam did. But after that, though, I mean, is product, you know, we'll start after this question, you know, but is product creation in the hands of everybody, or is it just the guys with the big teeth like Tony?
Yeah, no, and nor when people ask me that question, my answer is always, nor should you try to be Tony, because Tony's Tony and you're you, and some of your greatest power is your own unique voice and perspective, and it's, you know, the putting it together, it's all templated. That part is really so much easier than so many of us think. The biggest hurdle is getting over the mindset gap that, you know what, I can do this, and I have a unique voice, and that voice needs to be heard. And so it's a little bit of energy to put it together up front. But once you have your product done, then they become your robots and your missionaries out there doing the work for you, and it increases your value in the marketplace and helps you build your business, a foundation for your business.
Awesome.
I prefer to call mine a robot tiger.
A robot tiger. Mike has named his. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, exactly. His name is Clarisil. He is the. No, I'm just being a goofball here. But well, you take it away, Paul. Get out of your way here, and you can get things rolling.
Yeah, it's the top of the hour. I'm going to hit the record button, and we are going to get to work here. Hey everybody, this is Paul Call again, and I have here on the webcast two of my favorite people in the world, Pam Hendrickson and Mike Koenigs. This is about a system they have developed. It is about some things they have realized, and most importantly, it is the combination of about 40 years of combined work in a field to the very realistic world of marketing, and launching products. And what's interesting is you can do this. Anyone can do this. The technology that used to get in the way now makes these things very possible. So I've asked Pam and Mike to come on board and to just share with my list the simple ideas and the simple concepts of turning ideas into income. So welcome, Mike. Welcome, Pam.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Paul. Thanks so much for having us.
I meant hey.
I'll try to keep Mike under control on this end. I'm not sure how well I will succeed.
I can't.
And to be honest, I'm not in the mood to keep him under control, so we'll see what happens.
Hit him hard. So what I want to do is I want to make the majority of this. You guys have put together a bang-up presentation. We want to be good to everybody's time. So I will interject every once in a while. I'll bring a question or two from the audience. If you're watching this live, feel free to interact. If you are for some reason consuming a recording of this, well, then the interaction won't necessarily be as prolific. But please interact here live. And with that, I'm going to hand the reins over to you two. You guys know who's chatting about what. So, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, Pam and Mike.
All right.
I'll let Mike cover our first very exciting slide.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna share a couple examples here today, and the FTC desires, in fact, they demand that you put in some sort of a disclaimer when you're talking about anything at all that could possibly have something to do with earning revenue or income or anything like that. So we're just playing it safe here. But the bottom line is we're going to be sharing some stories of some people who've been implementing and doing some things using tools and resources, and some of the things that we use. And what we're going to do is just want you to know that if you do nothing, you'll make nothing. So I don't know if there's anything else to say there, but thank you, FTC, for taking care of the consumers in the marketplace. That's what I wanted to say here. Pam was giving me this look.
I didn't know where Mike was going. But in all seriousness, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is a model and a system for building a sustainable business, and the results are directly related to how much you put into it. So
right. Yep. So a couple quick things that we're going to share with you are a couple insider secrets for building really a real business, 5, 6, 7-figure income online. We're going to share with you our 7-step formula for doing that. And more than just building products, we're going to be talking about what it takes to build a real business and building that business around how you want to live, not the other way around. And next, if you take a look at what are your goals, so we found that there are essentially 3 different primary customers that we speak with. And they're either someone who has an existing business and have the bug. And the bug might be, for example, I want to find and create a more effective way to market and promote myself. I would like to create products so I can start selling my knowledge instead of my time, or I am spending an awful lot of time trading my time for money. So is there a way out of that? So we've got a great case study. Next, the next type of customer, or what we call an avatar, is consistently trying to find a way to transform and reinvent themselves. So we've got a good number of customers, for example, who've been attorneys for a long time. They're like, I'm kind of tired of that business. And they may have even accumulated enough revenue or wealth so they can retire, but they're like, I'm not ready to quit working yet, and I want to pursue something that I'm a little more passionate about. Or I love this word, I used it a couple times this past year, as being incomparable or incomparable. So if you're in the process and you want to transform, reinvent yourself, and find an additional way to earn income and have more impact, this is for you. And the third is, if the idea of creating products and services for other people, like professionals, and you'll meet a couple case studies a little bit later on of people who are doing this right now and becoming a highly paid product creation consultant. Right now, this is a very desirable skill set. Very few people have the skills and are able to do it, but we've actually been teaching a lot of people to do that themselves. So the other thing that we'll be doing is we'll be sure to answer your questions, so feel free at any time to type in any questions you have, and I'm monitoring them right now, so just feel free to pipe in at any old time. And maybe as we get going here, I know most likely if you're here you might know a little bit about Pam, but if you don't, I'll have her talk a little bit about her, but suffice to say, in case you don't already know this, Pam worked with Tony Robbins as a VP of product development for over 18 years, nearly 20 years for the organization. And while she did that, she was responsible for creating a tremendous number of products. In fact, on the next screen, I'm going to show you pictures of some of those. But I'll have Pam tell you a little bit about her background, and then I will come back and we'll give you some lessons and some content.
Great. Thanks, Mike. And so here, I'll just put some of the credential side of my background up on the screen here for you. And let me tell you a little bit about how you can benefit from this experience, which is that I have a very academic background. And then I took that academic background and really went on to work for the Tony Robbins organization for 18 years, not just in product development. I was VP of content and product development, but I also did a lot in marketing, and I was a VP of marketing the last year I'm there. And so what I'm really excited about as I work with other people in terms of creating products and services is that it's a really holistic view. You know, I learned in that process how to combine marketing with product creation, with content creation, with good financials behind it to make sure that you're able to profit from it. So in that time and since then, certainly, you know, I've created hundreds of commercial products, events, coaching programs in every format you can imagine. And Mike's going to talk about that shortly. And the reason I ultimately left the Robbins organization, I get asked that question a lot, is two things. One is, for me, it's about lifestyle. And what I love about this business is it is a lifestyle business. It's, a tremendous opportunity to make a difference and have an impact on people. There's certainly an unlimited income potential depending on how far you take it, but it's also a lifestyle business. For me, I have two little boys. You can see them up there on the screen. Actually, my joke is I have three boys. The big one is the one sitting next to me driving the car there. Or you could even say I have four boys if you count Mike. So my whole life is boys, boys, boys. But I left my job because I loved it, but it was crazy. And I was tired of not being home and not being able to be off when my kids were off school, not being able to, take holiday with them, make all their baseball games and basketball games and all those things. And so for me, it's been a profound shift to be able to dictate what I want to do, when I want to do it, with whom I want to do it, and where I want to do it. And that's what this business is really about. I also realized that the system and process for how to create products is very simple. So to your point, Paul, we were talking before this webinar started, you don't have to be a Tony Robbins. And in fact, if you are Tony Robbins, that makes a level of complexity in your life that you probably don't want or need. It's about a system and a process that takes your unique voice and experience, whatever that is, and packages it uniquely for your market. And that's something very accessible for all of us.
Okay.
Now, Pam, I want to jump in here really quickly because I told you this a couple of weekends ago, but I want to tell the audience this. I went through every information marketer has to do this, and this is the perfect slide to show it on. I went through the cleaning of my basement. And I went through the process of which ones stay, which ones go away. And everything that you've done, Pam, stayed on the shelf. And not the stuff that you've done with us recently, but I see several of the things in this slide deck that stayed on the shelf. You're producing product that, yes, gives you this lifestyle. Yes, has this profit potential, but has a real staying power and impacts people literally decades later. I mean, one of those products on there, although I had the digital version, Tony Robbins says flip over the cassette tape.
Yeah.
So I can, I can only imagine how old that thing is. And so you have created products with staying power. You've created products that aren't just impacting the world this year, this quarter, this season, but decade after decade, and that's where you're so unique to be here, Pam. And it's a thrill to know you, and I just wanted to brag on you a little bit.
Well, thanks for that. And it just goes to show that there's not a product out there that doesn't have a mistake. I can look at every product on that screen, and I know what the errors are in each one. Trust me. But the point is, it doesn't matter to the consumer. What matters is the content and the information and the ability to put it together in a way that they can use it to produce results. And so, certainly there's a little bit of a nuance in terms of what format do you use, and it's very simple to figure out that format. It's something that Mike and I do with people that we work with, but it's about packaging in a way that your market can really consume it. And none of these products are difficult to package or produce. And today with the internet and the ability to do things online, I mean, there's a lot of physical products shown here, but membership sites, websites, online delivery has completely changed the game and made things so much less expensive and less time consuming as well.
Definitely.
Awesome.
But it is quite an impressive array, I might add. When you look at all these.
I know, and I'm like, Mike, you left out about 20 other products I would have put on that screen. But
right. Well,
full.
she's got the, she even did supplements and that sort of thing. So I think what is important here is, this knowledge that we're sharing with you works for any product anywhere in the world in any business type. So again, most people I suspect kind of know this about me. So I won't spend any real time on me other than this past year, we, between the Make Market Launch book and the Author Expert Marketing Machines book, both of them hit #1 on Amazon. And probably the other thing that I think is valuable to you is, over the course of working over the, online now in the product launch category, we've had 8 multi-million-dollar product launches in a row. So again, what's important is what we're sharing with you today is repeatable. And what drives me when at the core is economic freedom and also freedom in general. It's one of the reasons I drive that little electric car, and I know Pat, for example, won a ride in it. He's on the call with us right now. My car is charged by the sun, and my house is solar powered, and I love the idea of freedom and independence from anything that controls us, we'll say, you know. So I'm always looking for a way to be free. And that's the attraction to being an entrepreneur and going out and pursuing that entrepreneurial lifestyle, the product creation lifestyle. And when I first started in this business years ago, this goes back, this picture, somewhere on the 2004, maybe 2005 time frame. But up until only 4 years ago, I worked out of my home. This is actually a converted stall in our garage, which was the home office. And you can see some of the pictures here. The lights that are hanging are actually from Home Depot. None of this equipment's particularly expensive or fancy.
And let's be clear that he's got a much fancier space now and higher tech equipment, but the number of wires hanging around is still the same.
It's probably about the same. My mom used to, she used to say, wires, wires, wires. You're going to start a fire in here. And they're like, they're speaker wires,
and
Mom.
I love the wires because they change lives.
Yeah. But I you know, they get to be a pain in the butt. But what's important here is it's come to the place now where we can create a product with nothing more than $100 microphone, a laptop, and affordable software. And you don't have to be a technical wizard to be successful in this business. And over the course of time, you know, I've had a fair number of celebrity customers and clients, and you know, I always fan this out if you've seen these before, but there's Paula Abdul and Harvey Mackay and Brian Tracy, who is one of my heroes growing up, and Bill Glazer and Dan Kennedy, and there's Jorge Cruz, there's our friend Finish Rich, David Bach, Ariel Ford, John Asraf, Brendan, of course, and there's Darren Hardy from Success Magazine, just spoke for him last Friday, and then a couple weeks ago I spoke for the third time on Tony's stage, which was really nice. But if it weren't for the fact that I had products, am an online marketer, none of these things would have ever happened. This skill set of being able to create products and help other people is in demand. And again, in case you don't know this, this past June I was diagnosed with cancer, and ultimately, and the most important thing for you is, if your goal is to find a way to protect yourself, and if something horrible happened to you where you weren't able to run your business, could your business run without you? Could it continue to generate leads? Could it continue to produce income and take care of your family? And I can fortunately say that because I've got a great team, and because we've got products and marketing funnels in place, the business has continued to run even when I essentially dropped out for nearly 8 months and only was able to show up for a couple hours a week to, you know, essentially be focused and be strategic. But during that time, created a product, did a launch, wrote a #1 best-selling book, and this past year, at least from a net perspective, we didn't generate as much revenue as past years, but we did have a profitable year, and it's because we just got a lot smarter and a lot more careful with the business. But I would just present to you that when you build an information marketing business, even if it just generates supplemental income, being able to produce additional revenue and to protect you and protect your family, this is an asset that I don't think you can live without. So with this, we'll jump into a couple of interesting case studies. Now, the first one is a woman. Her name is Karen Waxman, and I can kick a few things off, and I know Pam will have a few things to add too, but she's a retail sales consultant. In fact, Pam just got a message from her today that said she had quit her job, but she created a product in only 2 weeks called How to Get Your Product into Retail Chain Stores, and this was, it's actually called Retail MBA. But our target customer are inventors and product creators. Oftentimes are people who couldn't afford to hire her as a retail sales consultant, But now, for $995, they're able to buy this product. And after creating that product in only 2 weeks, she sold 10 copies when she spoke at an event. And what she's also able to find is that was a great way for people to become educated enough and self-qualify and then talk to her about actually working with her as a highly paid consultant. So
the key is that when you have a product or service, it increases your value in the marketplace tremendously. And so for her, she was very successful in retail sales. She just saw a limit to what she was able to do in terms of her income and her impact because it was always dependent on her, and she needed the leverage that a product would give her.
All right. So a very, very important part of what we're looking at here is, and we'll tell you a little bit about Escalation, because so many small business owners, they're saying, well, how can I incorporate turning my knowledge into products, and how can it help me market myself more effectively? So just to give you a few ideas here, and this is, again, something that we recommend, and we're just talking about this before we started the webinar before. If I had to make a choice, I'd say I'd make a product first, and then I'd write a book as a marketing tool. But a book you can sell for maybe 99 cents to 20 bucks. But when you escalate to having an information product that you can sell for $300 to $5,000, what that does is it makes it a lot easier to either sell someone into a live event or something we call a master class. It's something that a phrase that Paul coined, that you can sell and teach people, but you can also create a professional services or sell coaching for more money, which can also escalate into selling mastermind, platinum, or certification programs for a lot more money. So as an example, this past week when I spoke at this event for Darren, there were 25 small business owners. Well, one of them, for example, was $1 billion a year corporation. So I don't know if I'd call
That's not a small business.
That's not a small business anymore. But in general,
it's not a small business.
Virtually everyone there had a business that they generated between $5 million and $1 billion a year. And most of them sold whatever they sold, but virtually none of them were using products as a lead generator. And when I presented this idea to them, they immediately got it when I said, well, everything that you market, everything that you have to pre-sell and teach your prospect before they become a customer, you could package, you could sell, or you could give that to a prospect and they would value you higher because they'd see something that would have the perceived value of, let's say, $500 or $300 or $1,000. So as an example, there was a gentleman there who teaches families, parents, for example, how to send their children to college for free. And I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. And it turns out a lot of the services he sells are financial services, financial instruments, and that sort of a thing. They're called 529s. But I said, how many questions do you get all the time? And he says, hundreds of them. And I said, so if you recorded those on audios and CDs and you gave them to your prospects or sold them, do you think you could start a new business that would also lead into additional business? And he immediately got it. And he's like, I can't believe I haven't done that before. So we oftentimes run into small business owners who could do this. And I know we've got Pat on the line right now, and we're actually going to use you, Pat, as a case study here in a moment. But I think Pam maybe had something else to share, or should we just go right to Pat?
Let's just keep going.
Okay. So Pat's actually listening and watching right now. He was actually the winner of a Tesla ride. But I thought he was a great example of what's possible. And I know this isn't your primary focus, Pat, but I popped in here. Your expertise was racehorse physical therapy because you created this MagnaWave therapy device and you created the certification program. And I know you also do it with athletes as well. But so you targeted your MagnaWave practitioners and you created a product over a period of 4 weeks, which you taught, and you charged between $200 and $250. And you had 28 practitioners who paid you $200 each. So, but what was great about this is you were actually getting paid to produce the product. And so you were able to teach and record the program, get paid while making it, and now you can sell it over and over again. And you also wrote a book based on the same content that became a #2 bestseller on Amazon. And I thought this was a really interesting thing that, and this is proof that this device you use works, but the last 5 Kentucky Derby winners utilize the therapy regularly. And I took that right from the notes, but I wanted to make sure, and Pat, you can say if there's anything that I missed here, go ahead and correct me. But this is a great example of where Pat was able to extend his reach as a business owner, essentially get his clients to pay him for additional knowledge and information, which are going to make them more successful. But in the past, he probably would have been giving this knowledge and this information away just to get them in as customers or better consumers. But here he is. He just said very true. So I think Pat's a really great example of someone who, put his nose down and said, how can I leverage and use this? Became a product creator. Now you've got a form of passive income. It creates happier, better, and more solid customers and clients, and you're going to be able to do this over and over again. So we'll move on to another example, which is Chris Winters, and we actually just did an interview with him today. But he's a guy who had an amazing turnaround story. To make a long story short, alcoholic. His family had actually left him, and he was 3 months late on his mortgage. And make a long story short, he created a product called Massive Passive Videos, and his target customer were small business entrepreneurs and local marketing consultants. Again, it only took him 2 weeks to create the product, and he sold it online through a partner. So he found an affiliate who he became friends with, and they sold the product for $27, and they had another $27, what's known as an upsell. In other words, when you buy the product, you'd buy the next thing. But they produced over $250,000 in sales from that first product inside of 4 weeks. And since last year, and we're actually going to be interviewing him this coming weekend, but he's created 4 other products, has built a 7-figure business. Now he's got a database of over 55,000 buyers, and he's leaving this coming month with his family for the next 5 months to travel the world, and he hasn't even begun the escalation process yet. So Chris is an example of someone who's reinvented himself in a short period of time and created a phenomenal life for himself at the same time. And the next person that we have here is a woman named Carolyn Samson. So in the past, what her expertise was, she's a success coach and a strategist.
Coaching.
Yep. Now she created a product for a doctor whose target customer were his patients. And she's currently doing this, but she charged $74,573 and 10% of his increase in revenue for his entire business, not just the product. And over the past, now it's going on, it's close to 90 days, but she's closed 8 more 5-figure clients. And for her, instead of selling her time and coaching services, she's bundling product creation and setting herself up to earn residual income from each customer based on performance. So she goes in, and instead of going out and only selling coaching, where she probably would have struggled, competing against a whole bunch of other coaches to get paid $500 or $600 for maybe a month worth of coaching program, now she can ask the magical questions. Hi, client, have you created a product? Have you ever thought of packaging your knowledge and selling a product instead of your time? And of course, they're like, I'd love to do that, but I've never been able to find someone to help me out. She goes, I'm your person. So the key thing here is she's an example of someone who's become a highly paid product creation consultant in a very short period of time, helping small business owners and professionals turn their knowledge into products that can sell over and over again.
Exactly.
I'm going to jump in here really quick because I'm seeing a pattern here. And Pat, it's fun to have Pat inside making comments in the Q&A area. His 2 things very true, but then his second statement here really interesting. Gave it away for 6 years. In all of your case studies, I'm seeing people who just did what they were doing before. Like, it's not like nobody here acquired a new skill set. Nobody here went to school. Nobody, spent 1 year on a mountaintop somewhere with a guru finding themselves. These are people who had a skill set, who realized if they put a product around it, everything changes. Is that accurate?
Yes, it is. And that is precisely it. And getting back to what Pat said, he was giving away his knowledge for 6 years. And here, once he packaged it, his knowledge and he are suddenly significantly more valuable. And that's, again, across the board. As soon as you're a published author, you're suddenly more valuable. But a product has even more value. It's that much easier to go out and get speaking gigs, to charge more for your products, charge more for your time, charge more for you, and get some residual income coming in. So this is very, very powerful and important. But I don't know if I answered your question, but I just think of all the things, when I look at my life in the past 20 years doing this kind of thing for other people, life exploded and changed dramatically when I finally had a product to sell. And specifically, once you've got a product that you can sell for over $1,000, that makes such a difference. I mean, just think about it. 10 products, 10 grand extra per month. That's very life-changing. Most people I know, when they hit that six-figure mark, that's when a lot of pain in their life goes away. Pam, anything to add?
Mike,
yes.
When you and I met, 6 or 7 years ago, whenever it was, I took you seriously because of the infomercial toolkit.
Yeah.
There were 8,000 people online claiming to be experts, claiming to be pros, claiming to be the latest thing in video marketing, but you had the toolkit.
Mm-hmm.
Traffic Geyser had just started, but you had taken this world, you had wrapped it up, and you had a package, and instantly I took you more serious. Pat here says in text, he says, 2 potential customers called today because of my certification product. He's got people calling him because of the product. We had our first meeting because of your product. Carolyn here on the screen charged $74,000 because of her product.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good deal.
Yes. Well, in her case, she didn't even have a product of her own. She just became a consultant. So she was able to just ask the question, what would it be like if you had a product to sell and could sell your knowledge instead of your time? And trust me, I've been dealing with doctors now, and I give my books away. One of the guys who did some work on me offered to do a trade on my port, my chemotherapy port. He says, if I would have known what you do, I would have done a trade and saved your, well, he ended up saying he'd saved my insurance company $12,000 in exchange for the port. But the whole thing is, my doctors would have traded all their services in kind for just learning and knowing what I know.
Because most professionals don't know how to do this. Most professionals get into business because they just have a passion and they want to do it. So if you can go in and add the value proposition called, hey, I can create a product and help you market it, then all of a sudden your values increase tremendously. So let's walk through what we thought we'd do, Paul, is now go through some of the most frequently asked questions that Mike and I get about product creation and marketing. So the first one is, we always get asked these 4 questions. Number 1, what product should I make? What format should I use? Should it be DVD, CD, book? Should it be an online product? Should it be an app, software? Should it be, is it a widget? Whatever it is. And then how long will it take to make it? And these are good questions, but they're not the most important questions to be asking right now. And I love it because Mike said to me the other day, wisdom is knowing what's important and what questions to be asking when. So the whole thing is kind of, if you think about it this way, when you don't know what you don't know, you're probably asking the wrong questions. You just don't know any better, right? So when you don't know what to be asking in product creation, these are the questions we tend to ask. Instead, what if you ask questions, and I'm going to relate these to mindset, how much will it cost me is one of the other questions. So if to relate it to mindset, which is our first step in the process, it starts with really understanding what you want. First of all, how do you want your lifestyle and your business to be set up? But then you got to start thinking about, who am I selling to? Who can I help the most with whatever my expertise is? What's the problem I can solve for them? And how do I position it for maximum revenue? See, when you start asking these questions, which is what Pat did, it's what Carolyn did, it's what Chris Winters did, it's what all of our case studies have done. When you start asking the right question, then it's so clear what products you need to create. And it's a time saver, because then you're not wasting time doing the things you shouldn't be doing that aren't going to move your business forward. So that's step number one. And part of this is just a part of what Mike and I created with our Make Market Launch system. We have a process that gets your product done in 21 days. See, because getting the product done when you're clear about what it is you're doing and who you're doing it for is so simple. So, for example, what we did here is it's all templated. It's just one thing you do every day for 21 days, fill in the blank template, takes about 20 to 30 minutes a day, and your product is done. We spec'd out keynotes and PowerPoint, so you just have to put your content in there. We even give the vendors of who to contact and the pricing and the templates, and we even negotiated a discount for all of our Make Market Launch members, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. But the point is that 21 days is all it takes to get your first product done to start making money. And if you look at Chris Winters or Karen Waxman, they did it quicker than 21 days. So it's easy to get started when you know the questions you need to be asking. So the second set of questions we get asked very often are, who's going to buy my product and what should I name it? And this all has to do with our second step in the process, which is about really being clear about your target market.
All right. So in step two, and this is really aside from the mindset piece, which is really just knowing what kind of questions and what works best. And so we always teach people, model people who've done it before. Huge part of our program is we do a lot of interviews with successful product creators. We'll get to that in a little while. But when you talk about your target audience, we call these avatars, which is who can you help the most? And number one, if just looking at what you have on the screen, trying to be everything to everyone is the worst thing you can do. Instead, being focused. And also, your job is to narrow down your focus to the one person who will benefit most from your product or service. And when you connect and create a bond with the one, that's going to create a deeper level of trust. And people will naturally say, oh my God, they're talking directly to me. Now, we're actually violating a little bit of our own rule here, but I'll tell you that we know we've got 3 different customer types. Now, we've been doing this a long time, and when we created our own program, we discovered that we essentially have 3 different types of customers, okay? And I guarantee if you're listening or watching us right now, you're one of the 3. You're either a small business owner and you've been trying to figure out how to sell your knowledge instead of just your time, might have been locked in selling your services or giving away your knowledge over and over again. I mean, Pat said, I've been doing that for 6 years. The second person and we often get people who've either recently sold their business and they may have even retired for a little while and they're like, I'm not ready to stop yet, or they want to reinvent themselves. So they're in a state of transition, okay? And the third are people who are like, okay, I have been doing something for a while and I've either been undervalued or I'm in a space that's increasingly becoming more competitive, and I might even fit into slot number 1 or number 2, but I'd also like to create products for someone else and get paid. So for you, what I always tell people is when you're doing this exercise, figuring out who to sell to, you want to target on the best customer you've ever had. And also, there's an exercise you can do, and you can see there's a link on here. That short link is 0, the number 0, s4.com/r, and then best. Or you can just search for Amazon bestsellers. That's even easier. But this little exercise is a way to laser target and find out what the top selling books are in virtually any category. You can determine what to name those products, because whatever is the top selling book in a category or the top selling 5 will give you some really good ideas of what's selling best. Model the ones that are working, right? Also, you'll determine not only competitors, but potential partners who could co-promote you. And this is something that I learned from my good friend Ariel Ford years ago, is one of the best things you can do is partner up with some of the top authors or product producers in your category. And why do they always see a McDonald's across the street from a Wendy's, across the street from a Burger King? It's because malls attract more people. So do complementators. And finally, I get inspired and I get a lot of ideas for cover design and package design by looking at best-selling books. And all of the products that I've ever designed really came from inspiration on looking at popular books on Amazon, because you can zoom in, and they also, when you look inside the book, you can find out what they wrote about. Okay? So you can become an instant expert on virtually any topic by using this simple strategy. So next, we're going to cover the why people buy, and they go in order based on value. Okay, so number one is why someone would buy is to solve a problem they think they have. Pam talks about this. It's the bleeding neck syndrome. Okay, if you've got a bleeding neck, you're going to do anything to get rid of that. Just as, if you've got a horrible disease, I know what that's like. When I was diagnosed with cancer, it's like, what can I do to get rid of this thing now? Second is to take advantage of an opportunity. In the past, now for this, for example, we know that there are a lot of people who their pain is, I wish I had a way to get paid more for my time or find a way to earn extra income without having to sell my time for it. Okay, so that would make this an attractive offer. Another one is to live vicariously through others. Reality TV is an example of that, but also doing travel adventure, that sort of thing. To learn more about a fascinating subject. A lot of people pay a lot of money for certain hobbies. And finally, to laugh. And if you can combine, let's say, 1 and 2, or 1, 2, and 3 in a product, you've got yourself a winner. But also know that, again, from top to bottom, those have the most value. So selling a product about laughing, you ain't going to make a lot of money, okay? Because you're competing with, let's say, a subscription to Netflix for $8 a month. I don't see where the money is there. But if you can be a cure for someone's problem, you can make an enormous amount of money. And Pam's going to guide you through, actually, that's a little bit later on, which is creating the irresistible offer. So I'll have Pam guide you through, and it really ties all this together.
Absolutely. So we've talked about the first thing is just mindset and really how you're thinking about your products and services as it relates to step 2, your target market, who you're really here to help. And from there, then you move into creating what we call your offer. And all an irresistible offer is Mike said it, it's the solution to the bleeding neck. When your neck is bleeding, that's all you care about is the solution to that. That's what an irresistible offer is. It's just how you explain the problem you're solving to the right group of people, your ideal customers, in a way that presents you as the obvious solution to their problem. So here's an example of that, and I'll relate it to some of my background, which was working in the infomercial industry. So I got to do some work with Guthy Ranker back in the day, and it's a great organization, does a lot in business. They did all of the Tony Robbins infomercials, for example, with the slick back hair and the big teeth. You might remember those. But they also do a lot of skincare products. And one of their best-selling skincare products, the whole thing about it is it solves one of the biggest problems their target market has, which is teenage girls. And teenage girls, their biggest problem, especially if you've ever been around one on prom night or on a big date night, is zits. So the great thing about this product is it so very clearly understands the biggest problem their market has, which is zits. And when you use the product, the zits go away. And it works very quickly. And a really cool thing about this product, if you can position your product this way, is when you stop using the product, the problem returns. In other words, the zits come back. So see, what happens is so many people get caught up in the nuance of the features of their product or the price or what it's going to do, because we're all passionate about our products and services. But we forget to talk about it in terms of the problem that it's solving. And what's so beautiful about this is it's not a 200% shift in what you're doing. It's a 2% shift. See, half the people who come to Mike and I for help, they already have a product, but it's not being maximized. It's not having the income that they want. It's not having the impact that they want it to have. And invariably, it's because they go wrong in either not really understanding who their customer is, or they go wrong in being able to articulate what the offer is, how they're solving the problem that their market has. So if you can be crystal clear about this, look, what's the biggest problem that you're solving? In this case, it's zits. So what happens if you don't solve the problem? The zits get worse and they spread all over the place. And how do you solve the problem forever? Use our product. That's how you want to be talking about your product in the most simple terms possible, because that's what gets your customers to buy. And that's where you want to go first before you sit down and create the product. So Mike always says, I love this quote from Mike. I'll let Mike talk about it.
All right, it's being the diagnosis and not the cure. So anytime that you can help someone solve a problem that they have by not only diagnosing the problem but also being the cure and making it go away, you're going to be incredibly valuable. And that means being able to simplify whatever it is you're offering. But just remember, this is why so many people in the nutrition and the health world have a terrible time making money versus being a doctor or a drug company, okay? People are looking for a pill to take to make their pain go away or whatever their problem is go away. They're not looking for, oh, I have to invest a year in order to do it. Now, that isn't to say that you don't want to provide a diagnostic as well, but at least when you introduce whatever it is that you're providing, you want to present it in a simple, clear way where someone can test something out, try it out, and get some kind of immediate result or benefit. Again, to be totally transparent with you, that's one of the reasons why we created the 21-day miracle. Something easy, step by step, fill in the blanks to get an immediate result, which would be, how can I make a product in less than a month? Okay? So the fourth thing that we get all the time is, do I have to do it all myself? And who can do this for me? Could I hire someone right now who will just make a product for me? Well, we've actually been teaching and training people how to do this. But this is the fourth step, which is leverage, and that's getting the best resources together that save you money and time. And the key idea here is, number one, you don't have to do it yourself. Most of us try to, okay? We all think that in order to become valuable, we have to know everything or do everything. And my friend Pam, for example, suffers from that, and so do I, honestly, okay? I say that with all tongue-in-cheek. But once you get out of your own way and realize that usually finding the right people are the biggest challenge you have, and they're out there, people who love to do stuff that you're bad at or you hate to do. And the other big levers are money and having systems to rely on. But first and foremost, nowadays, because of the internet, there are some fantastic ways to get really high-quality people.
And this isn't about going out and hiring a big staff to build your business or get your product done. It's just a surgical strike of a couple things that you need to get it out there so you can enjoy. And I'll give you a very quick example, and then Mike will give you some ideas. Is this past summer, I created a product, and it was an online product, and I had the opportunity to speak on a webinar. So a promoter filled the webinar for me, got the people to show up, handled all the technology. All I had to do was show up and teach and deliver for an hour. At the end of that hour, I sold my product, and that product sold enough that it covered my family's vacation. We were in Yosemite National Valley, and we covered enough to pay for our entire 4 days at a nice hotel in Yosemite. That's an incredible gift to give your family, and that's leverage. It's pushing the right lever at the right time to produce a result for you. So I'll let Mike share a couple of specifics about how to do that, and we'll go to the next step.
All right. So if you take a look at the screen right now, there's 3 ideas worth noting. One of them is outsourcing. That's when you're getting one-on-one labor, someone who's going to do stuff just for you. Okay, there's crowdsourcing, which is group labor. And then there's something new that I think is one of the biggest developments in a long time called crowdfunding. So on the right below in the middle, we've got freelancer.com, Odesk, and Elance. Those are 3 outsourcing sites. Another great one is Craigslist, quite frankly, where you basically go out and let's say you need an email specialist or a graphic designer or someone to help you build a website. Those are 3 sites you can go to, post an ad. Now in our system, we actually give you ads that you can copy and paste and use. Now, crowdsourcing is where you can hire a group of people and pay once, and they essentially compete against each other in order to get something done. So you can get a really beautiful graphic design or a logo done on CrowdSpring or 99 Designs for around $400, and most likely have 20 to as many as 200 different designers working on something, and you get to pick the one you want to buy, and you do it in a contest format. I happen to use Fiverr once in a while. When I'm really limited on time and I just want something, I'll hire 5 people at $5 each to come up with a design or a logo, and I'll just pick the one that I like. And usually someone will turn something around in about 48 hours. I know Paul's used this strategy before with book covers. And then finally, strategy that you'll see more and more is people are actually creating and funding their products by posting an ad on Indiegogo, Kickstarter, or now Crowdfunder is another one where you can say, hey, I want to design a product or produce a play or an album, and people will actually prepay for your finished product and essentially fund your business ahead of time. If you want to be inspired by a lot of great ideas, I highly recommend you check out Indiegogo and Kickstarter. You're seeing this is one of the most fantastic developments in a long time, which is generating and raising capital without having to actually build a business or a product ahead of time. Okay? And if your product doesn't get funded, it means the idea isn't good enough, but at least you didn't have to spend any time or money doing it first.
Which probably means you identify the right market.
Exactly.
So a couple more steps here, and then we'll wrap up and get into your questions here, is the next set of questions we get are around how to create your product. So we've talked about mindset. We've talked about the importance of understanding your market and specifically who you're helping. We've talked about the offer, which is the problem you're solving for your customers. And we've talked about how to get it done so that you're not doing all the work yourself. Well, the next piece is then you got to create your product. And we always get asked, oh my gosh, do I have to be an expert to make this product? Or how fast can I make my product? And how much time is it going to take to make the product? So a couple quick distinctions about this. First and foremost is it's really important to understand, and this is about creating your product, people are not paying you for what you know. And this is the biggest illusion that so many of us have. And if you think about it, the answer to any question, any information any of us want to know is available instantly at the click of a button on the internet. I mean, they measure the amount of digital information available in the world today in this species called an exabyte. It's a staggering amount of data and information. So when people invest in your product or service, whatever format it is, whether it's a training program or a widget or software or nutraceutical, whatever it is, it's not the what you know that they're looking for. They're looking for three specific things. Number one is they want your unique perspective. How do they use the information? How do they use the product to get the result they're after? They're looking for the insider track for the mistakes you've made so they can prevent themselves from making the same mistakes. The time-saving devices you've figured out because you've been dealing in this field for a period of time. They're looking for your perspective that can help them get the result faster. The second thing they're looking for is your ability to break it down and structure your content or your product or service so they can use it. And this is about consumability. And I had the opportunity recently to interview Ken Blanchard. We interviewed him for our Make Market Launch program. And he's just such an amazing guy. He's one of the top 25 all-time best-selling authors on Amazon. And it was neat to interview him because he has kept so current with technology. It's crazy. But I said to him, I said, you know, Ken, you're such a prolific creator. How do you do it? And he said, it's very, very simple. Is that the biggest mistake product creators make or first-time authors make in creating their content is they try to put everything they know into it. That is not what your customers are looking for. Your customers are actually looking for the least amount of information that they need to get the result. So think
now,
one...
Pam,
Yeah, go ahead.
Ken Blanchard, we've got a couple people asking, who is he? And I think when you explain who he is, that'll even make his answers more profound.
Yeah,
So
Ken Blanchard is the author of The 1 Minute Manager. This is a guy who's sold millions and millions and millions of copies of books. He's literally one of the Amazon top 25 best-selling authors of all time. He's got offices in 30 different countries around the world, and he's just one of the most prolific training and development people. He's really kind of niched himself in the leadership training and small business training niche, but he's a mega best-selling author. And if you Google him, you'll see it very, very quickly. So,
and that whole concept of the 1 minute manager is perspective, is structure, is exactly what he was talking about.
And Tony Robbins used to have a saying that I loved, which is, how do most people count? 1, 2, 3, many. So if your product is 47 steps to do X, Y, Z, it's probably too many steps. So at the most basic level, how can you simplify it? And I have what I call the 20% rule. Brainstorm, get everything out of your head, and then cut 20% out because usually we try to put too much into it. So the third thing people are paying you for is then the connection piece, your ability to humanize it. People don't want to buy your product or service from somebody they don't know, from some big corporate wall that they perceive where there's not a connection and a relationship. The world has changed, and a beautiful thing about technology is it's actually brought us closer, and it's made the capacity to have relationships deeper. And so when people invest in your product or service, they're looking for that human connection. That's why I hate products that are perfect. There's no such thing. Your mistakes make you human. Your ability to be real makes you human. And that's what people are paying you for when they invest in your product or service.
You heard it right here. That's Pam. That's Pam Hendrickson. Now, here's something that I got to give credit where credit is due. It's Paul. As far as I know, Paul, it's you who started this term, masterclass. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. So this is one of the fastest ways imaginable to create a product. In fact, when Pam and I created the first version of Make Market Launch, this is essentially a version of the strategy. We actually did a live event, but the basic idea, and you'll see some pictures here that'll run in the background, but the way we've been creating products and classes now, but we're actually going to be creating our next series of products, is by bringing, let's say, 30 people, and here you can see that was a great shot right there, 30 people into a live event environment. And there's one with Paul. Oops, it went ahead. I gotta go. There it is. Stop. There. Go. Okay, there he is. There's Paul. So imagine if you can bring some people, and I can imagine Pat doing this as well as anyone who's watching. Let's say you had 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 people in a room, and you'd basically teach and perform, but you're able, because there's a live group, it puts a little pressure on you in a good way to present, perform, and ask questions and interact with your clients. But with nothing more than a affordable camera, you can record that, and that becomes your first product. Now, that product could be sold. Obviously, you can charge people to teach and be there live, but they'll also pay for access to a membership site. So the key is you can literally make a product in a 1-day event, a mini event, or a 2-day event, or a 3-day event, record it, put it in a membership site, and you could literally put it up and make it available that same day. Okay, that's effectively what we're doing now. We're actually teaching and producing a membership site in a day, and we're able to sell it the next day and get paid while you're making a product at the same time. So again, for people who are like, oh my God, I'm afraid it's going to take me forever. They say, I've been trying to work on a product for a year. And it's like, well, I'll tell you what, you can make your whole product in a day when you've got a camera, a microphone, and a couple of people to teach it to.
Yeah, and let me jump in, because one of the most exciting things about the masterclass strategy, and I think it's going to become just a huge thing in product development, is you might do a 2-day event, and Pat here is making comments that he's in the lower left-hand corner outside of the camera shot, so you can't see him, but Pat was there.
Yes.
The thing about the masterclass is, yes, you could grab the cameras, record all the stuff, make it available the next day. But I know there's a couple of you going, well, wait a minute. What if, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. it was just a mess? Here's the beauty. It's called editing. That very thing that Pam said, where take all of your ideas and then cut out 20%, take your entire masterclass day, 2-day, 3-day, and cut out 20%. Cut out 50% if you want. That's the beauty of edit after the fact. The audience who's there, they're going to know why maybe things went slow, or maybe there's a certain member of the audience that took way too long to answer his or her questions or something like that. But the beauty of editing, which you showed earlier, you can outsource, you can crowdsource. The beauty of editing is you can take what was not perfect and you can edit it down to perfect within a couple of days. And that's the beauty of it. So a 8-hour masterclass live event does not necessarily equal an 8-hour video series. And I want to stress that because it takes all the pressure off. And the fact of the matter is your 8-hour masterclass might only be 6 hours of content. You just didn't know which 6. So again, you can edit that after the effect. So the masterclass strategy is really powerful.
Yeah.
And we're going to be using it for everything.
And it makes your product better because people will have questions and think of ways to use your product that you never thought of. And so it makes the ultimate content and quality of your product better as well. So the next step here, Paul, is one I know you love because you get this question as well, which is, oh my gosh, I don't have a list. I don't have a website. I don't have JV partners. I don't know how to do a launch. So step 6 in our process is promote your product and build your list. And a couple things we've done to take care of this for people, or at least get them started, provide a catalyst to get them started, is that people who are a part of our Make Market Launch system, we promote them in our monthly newsletter, which goes out to our combined databases, which currently is about 200,000 people. So you have an opportunity to have the exposure to 200,000 people by creating your product or service, sending it to us, and we'll put it in our newsletter.
How's that for killers? That overcomes one of the biggest things is we're also putting you inside our new expert marketplace. We call it Digital Cafe, and it's sort of like an app store for experts. So you'll get your product listed in there. You get some additional exposure as well as the newsletter, which is going out to our entire subscriber base. So if one of your questions is, well, how am I going to get some exposure? How am I going to be able to launch my product and get it out there so other people see it? This is one of those mechanisms. All right, so a couple more big questions that we get all the time, which is, how do I get to the point where my business isn't dependent on me, and what are other ways to grow my business and my list, and how can I exit out of this business? Now, this isn't necessarily, not everyone asks these questions when they're getting started because their original intent is, how can I just make some extra money, get off the hamster wheel, and stop trading my time for money? Or how do I find another business that I'm a lot more passionate about and be able to have a little more free time with my family, or a lot more free time with my family? And you know, you may not be in a situation like I was 8 months ago where I was like, I'm not sure if I'm going to live. That was number one. And two, how am I going to take care of my son and my wife when I'm gone, and make sure that they're okay? And the other one, which frankly scared the heck out of me, is, can my business survive without me? So those are all covered in what we call the Grow, which is building something called your Power Tribe and scaling your business. And the key to this, interestingly, and it's nice to have Pat here watching, but Pat, for example, is one of our heroes. He's a guy who implemented using one of our systems. You know, he used Author Expert Marketing Machines to write his book and to promote himself and become a #2 bestseller, and he also used a segment to make his first product. Okay? And so by identifying and featuring and focusing on our customers, this is what makes what we're doing that much more real. And when you feature your heroes, you feature your customers and show what they're able to do, that provides that legitimate, irrefutable proof that your stuff actually works. But this is what builds a brand, because if someone wants to come along and buy your business, they don't want to buy you if you're required to make everything work. What they want is your mailing list. They want your product suite. They want to know that they could come in and take it over and maybe expand the reach that your products and services have, and know that there is a legitimate business that can run over and over again. So when you look at what Pat did as an example, so he's created his first training program for his MagnaWave product. Well, he could bundle that, and suddenly that combined with, let's say if he had, whether it be 500 or 5,000 or 50,000 customers of that product, that's something that can be worth tens or even hundreds of millions of dollars to the right kind of acquisition partner. The same for that matter for Karen Waxman, who with her product and her knowledge could help provide services and expand the reach of one of her customers or clients who could come along and pay for it.
No question. And one of the things that I've learned over the years is that the quickest way out of stress or overwhelm is to focus on people, is to focus on others. So if you focus on your customers, if you focus on the people you want to help, that's the fastest way out of overwhelm, because we're wired that way as humans. You know, someone comes to us and says, oh my gosh, I need help with X. Most of us will do anything in our power to help that person. And so the trick is, instead of falling in love with your product idea and your content and thinking about it that way, really have that love affair with your customer and really get to know them and care about them. And that's what not only gets your product done, but that's what builds and grows your business so it grows beyond you. Make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. So at this point, what we'll do is we'll walk you through our system, and then we'll answer any other questions you have. And once again, feel free at any time, just submit your questions right now, and we'll get to them as soon as we walk through this. And Paul also has a special bonus that he's going to be giving away. So I just put that link up right now, and you'll be able to pre-frame and see a little bit of this. So what we're featuring and focusing on today is our brand new Make Market Launch It 2.0, which is an online training program and a physical training kit that we rush out to you immediately.
So to be clear, what we've learned is some people like to watch, some people like to listen, some people like to write and have something to read and take with them on the go. So the physical training program provides the convenience to be able to go through the product, take notes, write things down, and it's very tangible and physical. The online training has everything that's in the physical program, plus some additional bonuses, some additional training, some additional templates and files in their native formats like Keynote files, PowerPoint files, Excel formats that you can download and just plug in your own content or your own business model, and everything's done for you. The program also includes over a dozen interviews that Mike and I did with people like John Assaraf and Kim Blanchard, who I mentioned, and Ed Rush and Amy Porterfield, and client attraction strategist Fabian Fredrickson, some entrepreneurs who are just doing incredible things. And we got to ask each of them, what would you do differently if you were starting from scratch today? And that's such a powerful question, because you get to hear, hundreds of years of experience about what people would do differently and benefit from that knowledge moving forward. The program also includes 7 Q&A implementation calls and training calls with Mike and I directly. So we walk you through step by step, hold your hand, and help you implement the system. So that's the basis of the program. In addition to that, well, let's walk through who this program is for and who it's not for.
All right. Well, these are probably pretty easy. It's kind of obvious. But if you're already a small business owner, an author, expert speaker, entrepreneur, coach, or consultant, and want to extend your influence and reach and create some extra money, you're looking for a way to get off the hamster wheel, if you've got a message, a story, or service, and you know in your heart that your business can grow, and you're also teachable, and you're also interested in helping other businesses grow and become a highly paid product creation and marketing consultant, then this is the right thing for you. So you don't have to be a technical genius. You don't have to be a marketing genius. You don't have to know anything about running a business necessarily, because we teach you all that and we provide the resources and tools to get you going. So it's a product creation kit in a box, and our focus is helping you not just build a product, but to build a business. And we guide you step by step through the system, which are the 7 steps. It begins with mindset. And who better than to guide you through the mindset than the people we interview who are in the bonus DVD, and also Pam Hendrickson, who worked with the master of mindset for almost 20 years, Pam Hendrickson. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Pam Hendrickson right now.
All right, I'll walk you through each module so you have a sense of what's in it and what you can expect from each module. Now, first, each module has several video trainings programs to it. It has a mind map that's just a summary of what's in that module. It's very templated, so each module is just fill in the templates and get it done. And you can listen to the product. We have MP3 files as well online that you can download and listen to the program. So mindset is about what you need to create and in what format to maximize your results. So imagine having that kind of clarity. So many people come to us and what product should I create and what should I do? What format should it be in? And to be honest, the decisions about what you don't do are more important than the decisions about what you do. So having that kind of clarity and setting up your escalation funnel is what this module is all about. From there, we have module 2.
Pam,
yeah.
Pam, I want to jump in because, and go back to
Sure.
to that slide for a second, because when a lot of us think of the term mindset, we think of a raw, self-hypnotic, you have the power within you to create a product stuff. That's there. That's part of it if you need that. But the real benefit of the mindset is it's setting yourself up for success, strategically and mentally. And what I loved about what you did with Module 1 is just, okay, here's the path in front of you. Once you've figured out that you've got what it takes, here's what it realistically is going to look like. And when somebody tells you what something realistically is going to look like, and then you go down that path with the clear understanding of what's ahead, A, the surprises are going to be less. I mean, I'm not going to, nobody's ever going to guarantee you that nothing will surprise you in this process. But if you come in with the right mindset and you understand what the process is, and you understand how A fits into B and B fits into C, you are going to be in a position for success that you're not going to be any other way. And, I know there are some who are like, oh, I got the mindset. I can create a product. I'm going to go right to module 2. Don't do that. Go through module 1, because what they've done here is just phenomenal. And it really is a strategic, systemic setup. And I just can't speak highly enough of it. It's, I don't want to say it's one of my favorite modules, because, you've got 7 of my favorite modules. But
your favorite module is the one you're in, Paul. I'll get to the one you're in a moment. Yeah, and remember we've got the fast
module 1's so key.
It is. And remember we've got the fast track too. So fast track and that's a big key difference in what we added to Make Market Launch 2.0 that wasn't in the original program, is this whole additional module completely templated out where you just fill in the blanks. I mean, I spec'd it out with the vendor. I've got the vendor who just gives you the fill in the blank templates to set up and get your product done. So you can go through fast track, have your product done in 21 days and use that as a foundation while you go through these 7 steps, which is about building the sustainable business and escalating your products and services. So module 2 is target. And in a nutshell, this is about X-ray vision. What I mean by that is when you know what your market wants, you know how to sell to your market. So it shortcuts the entire sales process. And it's about relationship. When you are marketing your products and services to the right customer, these are people that you're going to fall in love with as well. And they're going to become friends and colleagues and partners, and you're going to grow your businesses together. And that's a really exciting thing. Module 3 is about the money. This is about creating the irresistible offer. And we've made this completely turnkey. It's just fill in the blank. We give you all the scripts and templates you need to get your product done. So you know what to put in your product and you know what to put in your offer so you can go out, start selling, start making a difference, and build your product. And think about it this way. What would it be like to have a VP of marketing in this box who did all the split testing for you, who did all the data gathering for you, who really made sure that this is how you put together an offer that's going to sell your stuff and laid it all out for you? That's what's in this module. Number 4 is what we call the lifestyle and money module, and it's the solution to overwhelm. And the goal is for you to be able to be doing what you love, which for a lot of people is the creative process, is the delivery process of what it is you're here to do. But whatever it is, you can be on vacation. Once you get your product done, and it is a little bit of time and effort to get the product done, but once that product is done, you have it in perpetuity. So imagine you're on vacation, you check in for 20 or 30 minutes a day, and the rest of that time is for you to relax and read and think and do and create and do whatever it is you enjoy. That's what the leverage is about. And understanding how to do that, how to outsource, how to crowdsource, how to make sure you're profitable, because it isn't revenue, it's profit at the end of the day. You want to maximize both. The next module is create, and I got your back on this one. It's about one thing. How do you over-deliver what you sell? And there are 7 things that every product or service needs to have. I don't care what format, and we walk you through what those 7 things are and then how to implement them in whatever format you want. So we help you figure out, do you need to do an online product, a physical product, an app, a software? Paul, you're in there in terms of some of the book strategies and how to turn the book into a product. We have, application and software. Regardless of the format, we give you all the checklists and templates so it's done for you. Module 6 is how do you launch your product? And this is about saving you time, money, and energy. And just think about what it would mean to have the structure and the tools behind Mike's 8 consecutive, this says 6, but it's been 8 now. I forgot to update this slide. I apologize. Consecutive 7-figure product launches. So this module outlines the step-by-step format, lays through how to script it so that you're able to launch your products and services in a multiple of formats. So not only your initial product launch, but your evergreen ongoing ability to sell. So that's what brings you that repetitive income each month. That's what it's about. And imagine, like, you're out to dinner, you're at the movies, and you look down at your phone and an order comes in. That's a really exciting moment. And by the way, that's how my first product order came in. I was out at the movies with my husband. I looked down and said, oh, honey, our date's paid for tonight on me. Really cool thing. The last module is about grow, and this is what Mike talked about in terms of building your community and creating legacy. It's about more time for you. And this whole thing is about how do you set something up that you love, that you're passionate about, that's going to give you what you want in your life in terms of lifestyle, that can be an additional source of income and an additional source of impact for you as well. And, think about what would you do with that extra money? What vacations could you take? Could you help pay for your children's college education, or surprise your spouse and whisk them off to Paris, pay off your debt, support a charity, whatever it is that's meaningful to you. That's what this is about at the end of the day. We all deserve to have it, and we all can have it. So putting this all together, of course, we have some extra goodies for you. So that's the core system. The extra goodies are, number one, is we have 2 bonus courses for you.
All right. So the first one is how to create high-value, high-ticket programs. And I've sold products as expensive as $100,000 before, and I actually essentially break down how to create high-ticket items. And I highly recommend that everyone learns how to sell, whether high-ticket to you means $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000. There are always customers that you have who have the resources, the ability, and the desire to get more. And to ignore that is foolish. And the other one is we put together a launch toolkit, and there's the videos and scripts from 5 of our multi-million-dollar launches, plus a deconstruction of the strategy behind each one. And the first big launch that I ever did, the biggest one anyway, I ended up paying, all said and done, $1 million in terms of payments and royalties to have that done. So I've invested literally hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars, plus doing this over and over again, and you basically get access so you can model it yourself and not have to pay what I had to pay.
It's like having a 7-figure copywriting job done for you, where you just take out and find and replace with your specific product concept, but the scripts are done for you and they've been tested. So our second bonus, and Paul, you're part of the second bonus, is we give you 2 free tickets to our Make Market Launch It live event. The event will be recorded if you can't be there, but I think most people on this call understand the power of a live event in terms of implementation, in terms of the immersion environment, in terms of being able to learn from experts and Mike and I, and have a chance to ask your questions and have Paul and Mike and I answer them. And we're also giving you a second ticket. The reason for the second ticket is so you can bring a colleague, a spouse, a business partner, even a client to the program to get them involved in what it is you're doing. And the thing about the live event is we could charge easily $9.95 per ticket for this event just by itself, and we have done that, and it would be more than worth it. But we're giving you the tickets to this program because this is a system. We don't want to just give you a product and walk away and be done. We want to develop a long-term relationship with you as you grow your business, give you the tools, and help you implement them to get the results you're really looking for. And I know, Paul, you have a special thing related to this that you'll talk about in a moment, so I'll tease that right now.
All right. And of course, we're going to promote you. So when you create your product using our system, you send it to us to review. We'll actually insert you in one of our upcoming monthly newsletters. And you'll also have an opportunity to submit your product to be included in the Digital Cafe Marketplace, which gives you additional visibility as well. So if you're wondering, how am I going to get visible? How am I going to build a list? How am I going to launch my product? We actually put our money where our mouth is and do that with you and for you. And the product, right now, the product is actually increasing in price to $34.97 this Saturday at midnight, but right now you can save $500. When you place your order, you get instant access to the digital version, the membership site, and all the bonuses, and we're going to rush out the physical product out to you. Tomorrow, as soon as you place your order, it's going to get packaged and sent to you, and you can order right now when you go to paulcolligan.com/MML or call 877-927-2356 or local. That's 858-356-2356. So if you have some specific questions that you'd like to talk to someone live, you'll most likely be talking to either Chris Hendrickson, that's Pam's husband, or one of our other sales consultants will take care of you. And the reason why you see that link up there is because Paul has a special bonus for you, which he'll explain in a moment, but I want you, first of all, to know We give you 100% money back guarantee. You can try the system out if you're not happy. You can go through the 21-day miracle. You could actually go through, create your product, and if you're not happy with that process in the first 30 days, send the package back to us. We give you your money back, 100% of it, no questions asked. And let me show you here. Oh, I guess we're going to go through it before we get to Paul's bonus. But
and
Pam, it's something
one
else.
thing about this is think about it this way. What I love about this system and program is this is something where you can make your money back. If you think about it, how many products, let's say you create a product for $500. How many products would it take that you sell to make your money back? Paul, I'll let you do the math. So a $500 product, how many do you need to sell? 6 products. You could sell them to your Facebook customers, or I bet your mom will even buy one. And Paul, you could show people how to sell it to the 6 people on their Facebook page, I'm sure. So if you think about it, that's all you need to make your money back, and then all the rest is yours to keep. So you sell 10 of that $500 product, that's $5,000. You sell 100 of it, it's $50,000, and your investment is still the same, $29.97. So it's really, really powerful, and that's where you start to get results, and it's like a snowball going down the hill that gives you that momentum.
All right. So here's the summary, and then Paul's got a really, really cool bonus. So you get the 21-day miracle. You get the physical product sent to you, shipped to you. You get instant access to the membership site, the community. You get all the course materials, all the details and tools you need. So it's basically fill in the blanks. You get our bonus courses, the 2 tickets to our live event, which is May 17th through 19th. And if you can't make it to San Diego for that, it will be recorded. You'll get promotion in our newsletter and digital cafe. The price increases to $34.97 this Saturday at midnight, but right now you can save $500. We do have payment options available. We've got a 4-pay as well as a single pay. And the way to take advantage of this is by visiting paulcolligan.com/MML. So Paul, I'm going to open this up. You can talk about the bonus that you've created for everyone who uses your link. And I'll put that link at the bottom again. And why don't you go ahead and talk about it a little bit?
Well, first thing I want to say is this product is just phenomenal. And those of you who like to learn online, and I'm of that crowd, you'll get instant access to the membership site. And it's beautiful and it's gorgeous, and Pam could easily do a $3,000 program just on building premium top-tier membership sites. So those of you who learn online, great. The videos all work with AirPlay. If you're one of these nerds like me who will send everything to the Apple TV, that's all there. The 21-day quick start is inside. Get to work. You'll get the product very, very soon. And the great thing is here, when you open up the product, I want you to open up the product and realize not just that, here are the keys to the kingdom. Here's the treasure map that leads to treasure maps, if you will. But this is the very thing you can be sending out to your customer base and out to your client base. And Pam, you said your vendor is giving your clients, special preferential treatment because you're training them on how to work with the vendor correctly. That's true? She muted herself out. All right, I'll keep going.
I apologize. I had the microphone off for a second. The clickety-clack of the keyboard, we didn't want it to come through. But we negotiated that discount because the vendor's good. And Mike and I don't get a piece of that discount. We're passing on the savings to all of our Make, Market, Launch vendors. It's just it's a vendor we know, like, and trust. We know they produce good work. And that discount is really helpful to people, especially when they're first getting started.
Right. And so there are 3 ways to learn, though. Way number 1, online, you're going to get immediate access when you sign up at paulcolligan.com/MML. Number 2, you're going to have the physical delivery, which nobody does better than Pam. And it's just, the box is a treat. The box is a treat, everybody. But I'm going to tell you, the 3rd way to learn is the mastermind, the 3rd way to learn is the event. The event is phenomenal. You hear us keep referring to Pat here in the audience. Pat was at our last event, yet Pat's on this call right now. Why? Because these events are game changers. And I am so in love with these events, and I enjoy these events so much that I really honestly wanted to create a bonus based around the value of the event to really just kind of show off and help everybody understand the power of what's in front of you. So let me tell you what my bonus is, and it's really, really exciting. All events, when you go to a training event of this size and of this magnitude, all of them have a VIP upgrade program. That includes dinner with the principals. That includes, special seating up near the front and a couple of other things. And when you go to an event like this, it's the only way to go. If you invest in this with somebody else's link, fine. But regardless, upgrade to the VIP experience, because you not only get a better view, you not only get a better experience, but you're with a group of people who know the value of the better view. You're with a group of people who know the value of the better experience, and it's absolutely phenomenal. So if you invest in this through my link, as opposed to someone else's, I am going to purchase your VIP upgrade ticket. Now, I honestly can tell you I don't know the value of this because they haven't set the price on the VIP upgrade ticket yet. So I don't know what it's going to be, but
$12.92.
Oh my goodness!
$1,292.
You heard it from Pam, and Paul hangs up. No, and the event. I want you to be a VIP at the event. It's just it's important. It's key. It's vital. It will change your mind. And I am the MC for the event. I don't know if we clearly said that. I'm the one who gets to try to bring everything together and bring up all the wacky guests and whatnot. So I want you to have the same view I've got. Sometime during the event, if you sign up with me, we're going to have a little mini mastermind right at the event. I want to have it later as opposed to earlier during the event because I want us to just sit around and what did we learn from this? What do we do about this? What's our next actions here? But so VIP upgrade at the event, sometime during the event, a mastermind for just those of you who came in with me. In 2013, when you get your product out, if you want to send me a copy of the product, I will do a video review of the product. One of two things will happen for the video review. A, you'll knock it out of the park. And for goodness sakes, with Make Market Launch, you have all the tools to knock it out of the park. If you knock it out of the park, use my video review in your marketing. Please do. Put it up at YouTube, put it up at Facebook, put it up everywhere. I would love to help you out. And the great thing is, because you're going to send me a copy of the product, I'm going to speak to it truly. I'm going to speak to exactly what it is. And if you knock it out of the park, utilize the video. If you don't knock it out of the park, that's okay. Utilize my video review to make it better. Nice, simple, easy. Either way, send me a copy. I'll review it. We're at a good place. The fourth one is a very, very little secret thing. There's a new product coming out called the Nessie. And the Nessie is by Blue Microphones, the same guy who've made the Yeti, and they've made some other microphones. The Nessie is a game changer in audio production. The Nessie makes you sound like the $1 million that you are absolutely worth. It has, for the nerds, it has a compressor limiter in the background. What that means like you now sound like you have a sound guy behind you. And when you create your audio products, when you do your webinars, when you do your DVDs, you're going to need a great microphone. I want to give you a Nessie. Now, I also can't put the price on the Nessie because they have not released it to the public yet. Cool thing is, the top video on YouTube about Blue Microphones I was able to do, and they've promised me the first batch of Nessies. So you will get one of the first batch of Nessies. Actually, Mike gets the second one. He made me promise. But after I get mine and Mike gets his, and who knows, maybe we'll give one to Pam, the rest will go to the people who have joined in through me. So as a result, it's Make Market Launch, same investment everybody else is going with, but I want to bring you in as a VIP upgrade at the event. At the event, I want to take some time with you and the others who come through and just do a little mastermind because my audience has a certain way of doing things and a certain approach to life that I think will be a lot of fun. Sometime during 2013, when you get your product done, shoot it to me. I'll get you the review. And when I finally get my Nessies from Blue, I will send you a Blue. Or I will send you a Nessie, and yes, international. I'll pay whatever the fee is as well. The process is order with my affiliate link, and then just forward a copy of the receipt to callagain@gmail.com. My assistant reads that, and she'll make sure that everything gets set up. That is my that's my bonus package. I think it's one that really kind of celebrates the product, and it's something I want to do because it is a product worth celebrating, guys.
Love it, man. This is great. What a great bonus. So, well, I guess the next stage and next step is up to you, and what I just suggest you do is dive in, take advantage of Paul's great offer here. That's, again, the order link is paulcolligan.com/MML, or call 877-927-2356 if you have some specific questions, or 858-356-2356. We're standing by to answer your questions. Obviously, you can place an order. And what I would like to leave you with is this. Besides the fact, of course, you're covered by a 30-day money-back guarantee, we're here to make sure you succeed. Paul's here to make sure you succeed. He's giving you the extra hand-holding. We're giving you the best tools in the industry and what I believe are in the world to turn your know-how and knowledge into a great product. But also, we're helping you kickstart and jumpstart your product creation life and your new life by promoting you as well. And I would just ask you this. If you imagined in 30 days from now, whether it's 30 days or 3 months or even a year from now, how your life will be different with the additional income that you have coming in, the knowledge that you could walk away and have some additional income and revenue coming in that's taking care of you and your family and being able to either pay down some debt or just having some additional freedom to take a vacation, a much-needed vacation, and know it's covered while you're out. And I know the most exciting thing that I ever experienced the first time I got into this business was when I saw $3,000 in income come in while I was away in my email account. You know, it was like, holy cow, did that feel great, knowing that my vacation was paid for and I was making money without being in my office or without having to have any direct contact with customers because I had a little marketing machine working for me. So, Pam, is there anything else you'd like to leave? Or we've got, see if we have any questions here. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask us, I want to thank, of course, Rob and Richard and Pat and Mike and Annie for attending here. And Yale, I know you just, I don't know if you were here the whole time. I just noticed you here a moment ago. But do you have any questions for us before you take off?
Well, one that came in here through Twitter is, are you going to help me distinguish between when to go physical and when to go virtual?
Yeah, it's the biggest question people have. And you know what? Going back 20 years, we've seen the market completely flip-flop from, 20 years ago. Of course, everything was physical because Al Gore didn't invent the internet yet. But it was all cassette tapes and everything. And then about 7 years ago or 6 years ago, I think the online product delivery really peaked. And today the market is a little bit more in the middle. So there's just 3 questions you need to answer that help you determine, should it be physical, should it be online, or should it be both? And that's an important question that we help answer inside the program.
And then this one too, does the world really still buy premium products?
Well, the answer is absolutely yes. And I can tell you that in my opinion, moving to a premium product model is actually a better model. Now, you always need what are known as lead generation vehicles. That's when we showed the slide about Escalation. For us, I think having a book is one of the best things you can ever do. And, if I were right now to give you, in fact, let me grab something. I have to see if we have it here. Let me check in the other room. Give me 1 second. I'm going to have Pam stall, but I think this is really worth doing. It'll just take a moment.
And while Mike goes, we'll see if he comes back. That'll be the interesting thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You never know with Mike.
Yael here, Yael, I'm sorry, I'm probably getting your name wrong. She asks here in chat, she would say, I'd love to know why you have a 4-pay that's different from what you normally do. And yes, I was fighting with some goats because I was late. Seriously, Mike, goats. So the 4-pay system, what's the situation there? And is it any different from the rest? How does that work?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm glad you won over the goats. That sounds pretty hairy. No pun intended. But the 4-pays, we just wanted to make this accessible for people. And we wanted to make it accessible so that you could get your feet wet. You could start getting your product and service, get it done, and start getting some income coming in and just make it easier to get into the system or program. So that was really the reason is, we survey all our customers. We find out what they want, what they need, and it was something that's been requested. So we decided to make that change. So that's the reason for that.
And then a question here, do you take PayPal?
We do take PayPal, and if there's any question or such, I think we have PayPal on the page on the full pay investment option. But if you just call us 877-927-2356, just call us and we'll set up the PayPal plan for you. It's very, very easy, but it should be just right on the checkout page as well.
Yeah, and don't worry about if you call the number, just say that you want to make sure I get the credit for the account, and even if you're too shy to tell Chris, all you have to do is just make sure I get a copy of the receipt.
He'll ask and he'll beat you up. Chris will ask and he'll beat you over the head, as will any of our other representatives. But yeah, make sure that you're coming in through Paul, because we want you to get his awesome bonus package.
Exactly. Now Mike's doing something here with the computer screen. So
yep. Here we go. I know this is really, really awesome. So boom.
Hi.
All right. So I'm gonna just show you.
He didn't warn me. I don't have my lipstick on.
Okay. So here we go. These are the place to start. Which, let's say, for example, it doesn't matter if you have a brochure or anything as your lead generation vehicle, but this is your this is our low end product. Okay, it's our book. But from here, this is our next step. It's our premium product, okay? Do people still buy premium products? Well, remember when I went through the slides about why people buy? Well, one of them is having a high-quality product like this that guides you step by step through the process. Okay. So,
and one of the things we teach you how to do when it's the right market, then premium isn't even the question. And see, one of the mistakes Paul make is people, they try to compete on price. They think, well, I'll just put out my product, I'll discount it, and I'm going to go for volume. And that's the worst possible thing you can do, because you got to value your product and service commensurate with the value you're giving people and the results you're helping them produce. And so that's just the wrong question. If you're asking questions about, well, I want to start out with an inexpensive product, it's just the biggest mistake people make, is they go in too low so often. Now you want to over deliver, and we show you how to do that, but it's the premium product is really where the profits are and where the impact is, and really where you'll attract the kind of customer you're excited to work with. So I'll turn it over to Vanna White here.
Okay.
Well, and let me throw something in here to make things really, really easy. The Thursday before the event, so whatever day that is in May, what day is that, Pam?
That would be the 16th.
Yep.
The 16th. So I'm actually speaking at an event in San Francisco with a whole bunch of folk, but Peter Diamandis is one of the guys, and I'm going mostly just to share the stage with Peter as a kick in the pants. But the topic is actually rapid Kindle product creation. And what I'll do is I'm going to get a copy of that video, and in 1 hour I'll show you how to make that Kindle book, only if you promise to use it as the foot in the door for the bigger level product like Mike and Pam are showing you here.
And here's the
the book.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, the book is what makes the bigger product possible that these guys are showing here with all their makeup.
the Vanna White. But I wanted to show the action book and the templates, because this is the money. The templates are what you fill out. You watch the video, you go through the templates, and your product is done. And they're very simply organized and laid out. We show you how to create, your product one sheet is in here, but it's very, very simple and easy. We've got all the checklists in here, and this is the key to the kingdom right here.
Yes. And as I open
awesome.
up, again, so answering the question about premium products, here's what's important to know is this is a premium product, okay? There's no doubt about it. It's not a $50 product. It's a high-end product, because this is a way to unlock your knowledge and create high-end products. But from here...
And we're looking for people who want to build a business, who really want to do something of quality, who want to take, your life's mission and passion and expertise is worth something. It's worth your investment. It's worth doing right. It's worth doing in a way that you're going to be proud of and that's going to have an impact on people.
Yep. But from here, we do have a course where we do a higher level, what's known as a certification course. So we teach people in a very small classroom environment how to build their business at doing this for other people, consultation. We do have a higher end premium mastermind program. It's a small group. Right now it's actually sold out.
It's full.
It's full. But... we have a maximum of 30 some odd people
30.
that we allow. Okay, 30 people who are allowed in there at any given time, and it's higher end yet, but it's very small, a lot more one-on-one, a lot more focused attention, And then I even have another program that's essentially a done with you product creation, where you get to go in and use our studio. We direct you and we go even more in depth. So the answer about the premium is this. In general, you start out with some kind of low end. In this case, we'd have a book, but you can be an ebook. It can be a Kindle book for 99 cents. It can be a series of videos, whatever it is. But you go through what we call the escalation ladder. The higher end stuff will have some direct one-on-one access to you. And generally speaking, that product is going to be about building your business. It's about growing and teaching you essentially what we do here. Because every business, when you get down to it, is the same. It's creating something of value. It's packaging knowledge in a way that can be consumed and deliver results. It's creating a marketing tool, a marketing machine that works for you 24/7 without you having to pay attention to it, and also being able to outsource or crowdsource as much labor as possible to maximize your profit. So I know that was probably more than you asked for, and I spent more time on it, but it's a great question, and I think for you to be able to see the possibilities and the potential here and open up your mind to, this isn't just about creating a product that makes you money for 6 months or even 6 years. It's about creating a business that can generate income and revenue and a legacy for you and build a sustainable brand that someday you can even sell.
And I'm passionate about this subject. Forgive us for beating a dead goat here. I'll use the goat metaphor.
Oh, goat!
Is that it's, you know, when I first started out, I fell flat on my face the first year I did this. And the reason is I was fearful. And so I started out at that kind of lower level and that introductory level instead of really understanding the true value of what I had to offer and what we have to offer. And so you just have to ask yourself that question. Am I doing this because, is it out of fear? Is it because I'm playing small? Is it because I'm not sure? Or is that really the value that you have to provide for the marketplace? Like I look at somebody like Pat and what he's doing, the value is, I'd be willing to bet he's undercharging for the value of the service that he's giving.
Yep.
And so when you understand the nuances of how to deliver to people, to solve their problem, to really take care of them, to create that connection and relationship, it is so much more valuable. And that's where the investment comes in. You know, do you want, you know, it's about having a deep relationship with people who you can really help. And that's what the premium experience is all about.
Yep, and he just said,
Awesome.
yep, Pat said that. So, you know, and
so Pat, go do it.
But here's the thing is fail fast, right? And just because you're not charging enough doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It just means that you're leaving an enormous opportunity on the table for you and for your customers as well. Because Pat, if you put together, let's say, a $3,000 or a $5,000 higher end coaching or a mastermind program, I guarantee you there's going to be a certain number of people who've gone through your first tier of training, and they're going to want more, and they'll sign up when you present it and you package it properly.
And it frees you up to give more. You know, when your margins are like $10 a product, you know, you're like, oh my gosh, you know, and it's tight in terms of what you feel like you can give. But when you have more value in the product and experience, it gives you the freedom to deliver from a place of abundance and not a place of fear or scarcity.
Yep. So I'll just go through this one more time so you can see it. But the part of a big part of getting this product is we practice what we preach. And our objective and the goal is to help you build your own product empire, create your own product suite. So
and the product we templated out in Fast Track actually comes with the box, so that's a pretty cool thing.
Yes, so a template for it. So you get when you
if you want to do physical, there's an online version
package,
too.
Yeah, and you can start off by doing it all digital, but the first thing you get is a step-by-step sheet that explains that you're getting started. This walks you step-by-step everything
and how
that's
to
in
use the
package.
program.
Okay, then you get a DVD, and the objective here is you can play this in your computer or in your computer. And remember, all this is online in the membership site as well with the community. But this is explains the value and benefit of coming to our live training, our live event. Then we have a laminated product summary. This outlines and goes through all of the 7 steps.
It's your master checklist, so you can keep track of where you are in the process and what you're doing.
Nice and easy. The whole course is right here. It's summarized. Which, by the way, we're really using the system to teach you how to teach your version of the system to your customers. And then we have the expert interviews, because the fastest way to learn is to model the best. So here you've got interviews with some of the best people that we've found in the world, and there's even more training inside the membership site that you have access to. So again, we've gone through and interviewed people and asked them the great question, which is, if you had to do it all over again, what would you do differently, so you don't have to go through the years and costly mistakes all of us have? Okay? The summary book, which is the content interview.
And this is a summary of everything in the video. So if you're a reader and you want to read and reinforce and take it on the go, you can watch the DVD, you can listen to the content on the membership site, or just go through the book. And this summarizes everything you're learning in the video course. And you can, really laser focus into the section you want to go to.
Okay. Next, you've got the action book, which all the templates and all the worksheets.
Very fill in the blank, and you get your product done. And so again, this is about simplification. And so you just take it one step at a time, watch the video, fill out that worksheet, go through that checklist, tells you what you need to do to set up your business, how you can set up the money side of things, the product side of things, the marketing side of things.
Okay, and then we've got the videos, which again, you can play them on your computer, you can play them on your television, or you can run them online through the membership site that you have instant access to as soon as you register. All of which is packaged inside this very cozy box.
And then you get the 7 implementation calls with Mike and I. And we also, on the membership site, we have 2 cool things. One of them was actually your idea, Paul, which is we put all of the questions we've been asked in an FAQ vault. So you can search. There's a search feature in the membership site. So you can search any question you have, and the answers will pop up for you. Or ask Mike or I a question. There's a forum specifically devoted to ask Mike and Pam a question, and we go in there and we'll answer your specific questions for you as well.
We'll scare you first. We'll be
and Mike came back. I know. I was worried. Was Mike going to come back? He did come back.
Yeah. There you go.
Awesome.
So there
Awesome.
it is. Well, it's the best thing we've ever made, and all you got to do is take some action. So maybe Paul, I'll let you pop in and say anything you want to say. But there's the offer and the link to go sign up.
Yeah. Visit paulcolligan.com/MML. That'll take you right to the area where you can invest in the system. And send me a copy of the receipt at colligan@gmail.com. And, make sure I've got that, and I'll follow up with you. My assistant will follow up with you about everything that needs to get done. And we will go from there. And, you get access immediately. The 21-day rapid track is in there. There's no reason why you shouldn't be well onto your product by the time the post office man, delivers the physical book. This is the physical box. This is it. 3 ways to do it in front of your computer. There's a time and a place for that. But boy, take that manual, take that pen, take those worksheets, and fill those out maybe at a cafe or at a park or something like that. But then finally join us for the live event. These things are game changers, and they really. The training is tremendous. The learning is tremendous. But to spend time in a room with like-minded people, learning from a stage of like-minded people who want the same thing as you do is absolutely tremendous. And I built a bonus kit. I've never done a bonus kit like this before that really promotes the live event, that third methodology of learning, which just really brings all this stuff together. And I am looking forward to the event. It's just going to be a highlight, and I just love what you guys have put together. And so please join us, paulcolligan.com/MML. I think I'll let you guys go. I actually hear our guests have arrived upstairs, so I should probably go play the good host with my sweet bride.
That sounds awesome.
But other than that, guys, thank you so much for sharing, and thank you so much for giving everybody here a vision of what product creation does. And it's just a pleasure to be part of this, guys. Thanks so much.
You did a great job. All right, thanks for being here, everyone, and we'll make sure we get a replay sent out to you right away as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.